Yes, who is this? You're an unnamed DCEU fan who thinks Shazam's a failure. Well, I don't like mysterious people with no names. Can you tell me your name? Uh-huh. Never heard of you. You're a failure. Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. And today, on today's DCEU Daily, on Friday's edition of the DCEU Daily, massive news. Michael Rooker has been cast by James Gunn in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad as the most exciting character that I can't wait to see in The Suicide Squad, King Shark. Da, da, da. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that exciting? It is to me. I love Michael Rooker. I loved him in Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved him in The Walking Dead. But the role that he played, that I first discovered him in, well, I didn't discover him as a talent or anything, but I first saw him in, was in JFK with Kevin Costner. He was amazing in that film, and he's had an amazing career ever since. But it just goes to show you, doesn't it? The talent and the cream does rise to the top. Did I expect Michael Rooker to turn up in this film? Look, I expect most people who have worked with James Gunn in the past to turn up. And we do know that he's really good friends with Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor in Smallville. So he could have a small role as well, or he could actually end up playing Lex Luthor. Who knows? Anything's possible in Hollywood, isn't it? But yes, late last night when I was asleep, this was announced. I woke up this morning. It's great when you wake up in the morning and you find out something that's really exciting, especially if it's something we can talk about here on the DCEU Daily. And of course, we've got to talk about it. It's massive news. King Shark, Michael Rooker. We don't know how this is going to happen. Is Michael going to be wearing prosthetics? Is it CGI where Michael does the kind of audio and the voice for the character? It is very exciting and very interesting how they're going to go out this character. The only other time I've ever seen King Shark myself in live action is the Flash TV show, and he's okay, but you know, James Gunn's going to take this character on another level. Look, I'm really, really excited. I think that what James Gunn is doing is exciting. Everything that he's told us about the Suicide Squad sounds epic. It sounds awesome. And I can't see why anyone wouldn't be excited for this film. Now, I did watch a video on, I think, is it What's Up Culture or What Culture, I think. And this guy's going, you know, taking chunks of the DCEU yet again. And one of his points is, why are they rebooting the first Suicide Squad film? Well, because you and your critic friends called it a mess. That's why they're rebooting it. But you're saying they should have continued it because it pretty much means that the DCEU isn't a franchise anymore. It's a rebooted franchise. First of all, you don't know what they're going to do with it. Until we've seen it, we can't judge. Secondly, if they said they were doing nothing and kind of weren't doing a reboot, you'd be saying, oh my God, that was such a bad film. That was such a mess. Why are they continuing it? So basically, Warner Brothers and Walter Hamada and Peter Safran can't really win, can they? I believe it will have connective tissue from the first film. In terms of a reboot, I don't know why they're calling it a reboot. It seems a bit odd. It seems a bit confusing. It may be a reboot. We don't know what's really going on. And as I say, until we see Wonder Woman 1984 and see if that kind of Flashpoint kind of rumor is true, we don't know what's going on here. But it does look like there are elements of rebooting this franchise, but not totally. So again, it's something that really does excite me just to see what the frick is going on here. So yes, Michael Rooker in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad as King Shark. That is awesome. Also, I was talking yesterday about Jason Momoa being on the Ellen Show. I did say that he didn't really say anything. He didn't say anything about the Snyder Cut, that's for sure. But he did talk about Aquaman 2, actually, which I didn't realise until I watched a couple of other YouTube videos. So we're going to set that straight right now. So Jason says that Aquaman 2 will have no alien invasions. There will be no end of the world scenario. This is all going to be kind of Earth-based. Basically, that means that we'll be on land and we'll be kind of in Atlantis underwater as well. So I don't know what the threat's going to be. I think it probably will be a personal battle between him, a Black Manta, which I'm really excited to see. or it could be absolutely anything. Obviously, this could be the film that they kill off his mother, aka Nicole Kidman. I actually thought Patrick Wilson's character was going to kill her when they embraced at the end of that film. Thankfully, that didn't happen, but obviously, when you've got Nicole Kidman in a role, you want to keep her active in that role as long as possible because it puts butts in seats. But I'm just excited that they're making this film. He says he will grow the beard back. So for those of you who thought he shaved the beard off so he could look like the comic book version of Aquaman, never going to happen. He did that as part of his environmental work because he is really passionate about it. Do you know what? No one should get a pat on the back because they're passionate about environmental work, but then they should, because there's so many people out there who don't give a shit about the environment. So really, he should get a pat on the back for that. And he's doing all this work for him. And quite honestly, that's more important to talk about than any film or any TV show. As much as I'm passionate about TV shows and films, we must also worry about the world around us and what's going on. And our world is dying because of us. And so if we don't do something to save it, we're all going to burn and drown. And I think that's what some people just don't get. Anyway, credit to Jason Momoa, a great human being, comes from humble beginnings, and I love him to bits. So yes, very exciting. There's so many kind of variables going on right now, so we still don't know certain things. And what I did notice, and what a lot of people have noticed, is that Warner Brothers didn't kind of officially wish Henry Cavill, should I say, I've got Jason Momoa in the brain now, a happy birthday. But apparently Warner Brothers India did. What does that mean? I don't know. Look, when someone hasn't played Superman since 2017 and it's 2019 and they haven't told us anything, but we see this weird cameo without the actor in on screen, if you like we did in Shazam, it does point to a recast, doesn't it? But look, we can't keep on harping on about it. We need to see kind of movement. I want to see movement on a lot of things within the DCEU because it kind of, in the end, it gets boring for us, the fans. It gets boring for the people behind the scenes. They're creating a new future for the DCEU. That was a decision that was made from the moment Zack Snyder was removed. We don't know what the exact plans are. There's even projects that have been announced that I think will be cancelled, like Ava DuVernay's New Gods. We discussed that the other day. I can't see any scenario where she gets to make that film. She has kind of teased things that are going on. I don't believe she's involved in that film. She's kind of signed a first look deal with Netflix as well. She's going to be a very busy lady, so I just don't see how she can do both things at the same time. Obviously, these people can. She'll probably be producer on a lot of the projects on Netflix, but we shall see what happens there because I just feel that she's not going to do it. I just think that project won't happen with her on it. And I think a New Gods movie would be absolutely awesome. But why her? I never really understood why her. Her background and history is very political. It's not really someone you want making your films if all they're interested in doing is making political points rather than entertaining the audience, exciting the comic book community as well. I don't want her doing it, to be honest with you. And I would throw an absolutely massive party if she wasn't doing New Gods. And that's just how I feel about that. We also haven't heard much about the Supergirl film that was teased late last year and even earlier last year. We don't know much about that. We don't know if that's still happening. It looks like it is. And as I keep on saying, I think that's the first time we'll see Superman again. Whose Superman we see again is, look, that's anyone's guess. But I'm really excited how this franchise is moving forward. It's, at this moment in time, you are not going to see the kind of box office that we saw with Avengers Endgame. This franchise has to earn its keep. It has to win the heart of the mainstream audience because that's what a business has to do. It has to please its mainstream consumer to make as much money as possible. Now, as foreign and as outrageous as it kind of looks to us, kind of the original Zack Snyder DCEU fans, the MOS fans and the BVS fans, that's the way business works. You have to please your mainstream audience. That's why Zack was removed, so they could do that. And we have to see if this franchise can be embraced in the hearts of the mainstream audience. It's going to be difficult. I think Shazam and Aquaman have really done a good job of doing that and pleasing the mainstream audience. When you look at Shazam, when you look at the reviews, when you saw the public's reaction to the film, it was an excited reaction. Obviously, it's a small film. It didn't make the money that some people thought it should or thought it would, or there's some people who have an agenda who say it's not making money. And that's why I did that gag at the beginning. The point being that Shazam is a very successful movie, 4 times its budget. You can't expect people... Look, I keep on saying this till I'm blue in the face. We are not the MCU. People are not just going to watch a DCEU movie because it's a DCEU movie. We don't have that popularity yet. But I trust Walter Hamada. I trust Peter Safran to turn this ship around. It's what they're doing right now. And I can't wait. I can't wait for you to see the Joker. You really are going... It's not even about being pleased about that film. You are going to be compelled. You are going to be excited. You are going to be wearing the Joker caps, the Joker t-shirts. You are going to be painting your faces like the Joker. This is a massive event for any DC fan, and I can't wait for you to see it. And I think the future is really bright with that franchise.